Hello and welcome to Sim.bc, where it is 1438. So just about something very interesting came up. One of my favorite creators just uploaded a video. Yay! Anyway, that's not why you are here, is it? So it's 1439, so it's 20 past 2 actually. And I know that I've kind of skipped over these things the last couple of days, so it will be the last couple of days for you, mates. And that is the brand, exactly. So I'm talking lots about marketing, maybe because what I've read through these last couple of days are my own summary of the marketing that I did for a exam a while back, maybe. And I've skipped over like what a brand actually is, because I've talked about the company, how is it good, and the product, how is it good, and how do you change the perception of from the production and the company to the actual customer, the viability of their needs. But what is this actually based on? Well, it's actually based on brand equity, which is what we're going to talk about today, mates. What is brand equity? Well, it's both the liabilities and the assets of a brand. And that might seem very... yes, again, people are going to be like, what? A brand is just a brand, isn't it? But no, it's actually not. It bears with it four very distinct characteristics, or not characteristics, but four very distinct perspectives that you can view a brand from when it comes to brand equity, at least. And that is the brand loyalty, the brand association, brand awareness, and the perceived quality of the things, well, not of the brand per se, but what the brand represents. What kind of quality does the brand represent? So, for instance, we're going to go through all of these four then today. So, brand loyalty. How loyal are you actually to a brand? Just take a minute to think about that. Well, not a minute, but take a good 5 seconds. And now that you've thought about it, many people might have come up with Apple or Samsung, because that seemed to be like the biggest problem ever. Or Marvel and DC. Can you imagine? They're basically the same thing. I mean, tech lovers should love both Apple and Samsung, shouldn't they? And like people who love comic books and superheroes should love both Marvel and DC, shouldn't they? Yet, so many people have such a split and divided opinion about these things. Some people are pro-Apple. Apple is the best thing ever. Wah! And some people are like, Samsung has longer battery life and it can be extended the memory and it's actually kind of objectively better. That depends on who you're asking, of course. I'm objective, as always, not biased at all. What happened there? And if you have the DC Marvel community, some people will be like, well, they're the same, which is the logical way of looking at it. They're both good in their own way, and I love both of them. Even though I'm more inclined to DC when it comes to the comics, and more inclined, like, lean towards Marvel when it comes to the movies. But that's just because they make them so much better. Hopes up for Justice League. Anyway, but you will have these people who are debating to the end of the earth every time some of these controversial topics come up between branding, and they will be so loyal to their brand that they can't even open their eyes and broaden their horizons to see that there are actually other brands out there and they're not shit. Just because they have another name doesn't mean that you're bad, is it? Does it? But some people are fanatics when it comes to brand, and this is this brand loyalty. How loyal are you and other people actually to a brand or to many brands? For instance, do you go to the same store every time, or to the same kind of company every time whenever they release something new? For instance, if we take Apple, I had a period in my life when I bought a Apple phone. I had the iPhone, and when I bought a an iPad. I only know it as an iPad, really. They have such good marketing in that. But when I bought my first, what's it called? Tablet, exactly. That's actually kind of interesting that they've marketed so well that I don't know tablet, but I know iPad. Well, that's not true, because the first time I bought the tablet was a Samsung, and I wasn't quite that, into it. It wasn't quite as good as I thought it would be, and then I changed to an iPad, and my mind was blown. That's what I wanted. So an iPad was like what I was after, and after seeing that, after seeing the quality in both the iPhone and the iPad, I instantaneously bought an iMac, an MacBook, which is what I'm actually currently using. Even though I'm not that pro-Apple anymore. Now I'm more, broaden my horizons. I'm with all of them. But that's the way of looking at it. Like, when I saw that two of the products were really good, I just instantaneously moved towards the third product and didn't consider if it was good or bad, because I had this brand loyalty in myself. So I was loyal to the brand, and I thought, I'm going to buy a computer. What I'm going to buy? Well, I have an iPad, I have an iPhone. Of course I'm going to buy a MacBook. And I bought the MacBook Air, which served me well. It's not a bad computer at all, despite what some people might say. But that's like anti-loyalty to a brand. People are hostile towards a brand. But that's what brand loyalty is. People are loyal towards a brand, and this is based on marketing and based on their own personal experience, nostalgia, whatever, and whatnot, so on and so forth. Whoa, classic. What? No, yeah, controversial topic as well. Then we can move into brand association. What is the brand actually associated with? And that is, yet again, is it associated with, if you take, for instance, the Body Shop. For the longest time, it was associated with a mindset of going green, no animal tests in our products, and people just perceived it as a very good moral, like a good moral compass for companies. In my opinion, if we take another brand association, I'm thinking about Blizzard Entertainment. When I'm thinking about the brand association of Blizzard, I'm thinking quality, which is going to become later in perceived quality of the brand and what they produce. But brand association, in my opinion, can also be quality. And what is brand association as well? It's about world building. It's about a certain way they do things. It's about community. For instance, if you saw the launch of, since they have made World of Warcraft, for instance, Blizzard Entertainment, and that was such a huge success. And it still is today, no matter what people say, because there's still millions of people playing it, even though they're not releasing their official figures. But that's another topic in its own, entirely in its own. But then you're moving into the new products that they've released, like for instance, Hearthstone and Overwatch, and they're really good. So when I'm associating the brand, I'm associating it with the other products, and when I see these different games, I'm associating them with the other games through the brand. You get what I'm saying here? So even though they have like different games within the same, it is within the same company, but they're different products, but I associate them with each other because they're under the same brand. It's like EA. If you see EA, you might associate it with, well, nowadays, microtransactions, because they have Star Wars Battlefront, which, Star Wars Battlefront 2, with all the controversy regarding that. So you might associate EA a bit with, that wasn't that good, was it? When they move forward, which is not necessarily quality, but it was more of a design option, a design making, what the direction they chose to go with it. And now you might have the stigma of, when you look at this brand moving forward, but they've made plenty of good game, SXS, whatever it was called, the snowboard game previously. So they have a good array of stuff that they have. And it's the same with, if you look, for instance, at Nintendo and you see Legend of Zelda, you think quality is going to be good. And when you saw Mario Odyssey coming out, it was also good. It kept in the same creative way and the creative vein, so then you might anticipate creativity when you move forward into the next Nintendo title that we will be delivering. Hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully the Pokemon RPG game. I'm not a nerd at all. But then moving into brand awareness, and this is about, if I say a brand name to you, how aware will you be of it? How likely is it that you will know what it is? Now, I think that the most, or at least it was the most, the brand who had the most brand awareness in the world, I think, was McDonald's, or it might still be, because they showed, there was a study, I can't remember when, this was 2 years ago, and they showed me this, or more than 2 years ago now, and they showed us a video of a case where they were basically showing different people, different brands, and they showed them the McDonald's logo, and almost everybody recognized it. And this was like hundreds of people who were taking part of this, not the discussion, but this survey. It wasn't it either, but this case study, exactly. There were hundreds of people taking part of this case study from all places around the world, and they showed them the McDonald's M, and people just instantaneously went, "That's McDonald's." Which was well good. I mean, can you imagine having such a strong brand recognition, such a strong brand awareness, that no matter at least where you are in the world, people are still going to know that M-shaped form, and it's going to be like, that's McDonald's. And I thought that was pretty great and pretty awesome. In comparison, I think another strong brand awareness is IKEA. I'm not biased because I'm Swedish. No, but like IKEA for me is something that I'm hearing from lots of, in my case, many YouTubers from the US who are talking about it. Like, they maybe not designated a video towards it, but they might name it in the past by, and people know what it is because they have such a strong brand awareness connected to the brand IKEA. So people actually know what it is, and that's a way of creating common ground between the creator and the community because people know the brand. So brand awareness is quite cool. That's also the equity, the asset and liability, because you can have a bad brand awareness that people know about it, but in a bad way, that's a liability. But if you know about it in a good way, then it's an asset. So perceived quality then, this is also going back to assets and liabilities, and of course all of it is, because you have loyalty, you have disloyalty and hostility towards a brand. Your brand association can be associated with the good and bad things like creativity in Nintendo, and quite recently with the Battlefront 2, it's the microtransactions in EA. Brand awareness can be good because it's people know about it or people don't know about it, so the awareness can be like, you're not aware about your brand. And then the perceived quality. Perceived quality is basically, what quality do I think that this product has? And yet again, if I say some of my favorites, Nintendo, Blizzard, I'm gonna perceive them as very high quality no matter what they release. They could release underwear and I would probably still be like, that's probably really good, you know, I'm gonna buy those underwear. People are gonna ask me why, and I'm gonna say like, since I'm so brand loyal to these, I'm gonna say like, well, because it's Blizzard's underwear, of course they're gonna be good. Why do you even question it? You see what I mean? While other people might be like, perceived quality, IKEA, something that many people, of some reason, at least in my social, in my social circle, like to pick on. That IKEA isn't that very good when it comes to quality, because you have to assemble it yourself and stuff like that and so on and so forth. I would argue that IKEA is good quality, dependent on how good you are at actually assembling it, because if you assemble it wrong, well, of course it's gonna, fall down because you've done it wrong. It's not IKEA's fault. The quality of the stuff that they provide is actually quite good. But some people don't regard the part of their involvement with affecting the quality, and so it can be the perceived quality that you have to do it yourself and you're not very good at it, so the quality is shit. Not shit necessarily, but isn't as good as you thought it would be if you bought a finished product. But then yet again, you can say that since they aren't spending a lot of money on actually assembling it themselves and making you do that work, you actually save in lots of money and they can provide more quality for a lower price, so on and so forth. So it's a bit of a back and forth often. Well, it's obviously always going to be, because it's going to be your perceived quality, so it's going to be individual to every person. Yeah, every individual is going to have their own perception of what quality is associated with this brand. That's why I'm saying brand association should be kind of perceived quality as well. So for me, there's some winners in that regard, as I said, Blizzard and Nintendo, who are always going to provide quality, and Happy Socks, by the way, really good. I love them. And then there are some other brands, like, for instance, in my opinion, Carrefour, which apparently is the second largest retailing store in the world. Don't quote me on that, I just heard that a couple of days ago. But apparently that could be the case. And yet I don't think about quality. I think they're very average at best when I'm thinking about Carrefour. Which is my perceived quality of the brand. You might think, oh, it's the best thing ever. What do you mean? While I'm like, well, I'm used to... Maybe it's just that I'm used to another sort of way of presenting quality. So in my opinion, this isn't that good. But it could be that the quality of the food and the products are really good. Just that I'm not used to them being presented in this way. Which is why I don't think about it as quality. Or I'm having such a strong brand loyalty to the brands back in Sweden that I think that these brands are bad, even though they're actually equally as good or better. Could be the case as well. This is yet again going back to perceived quality. So that was the brand equity. Assets and liabilities can come with the brand, which is shown in the brand equity in this short discussion. I hope you have a very nice day, mates, and I will be home tonight actually, and we'll be home tonight from Amsterdam. It's going to be all great. It's going to be all good. Hopefully I will have a very good time, and it's going to be sunny all weekend, and it has been, I would say. Has been sunny all weekend with a bit of, unfortunate events. It hasn't. But yeah, I'm going to end this here, and this is the 4th video I'm going to release in my schedule approach, which you know about if you saw the video that was released on Thursday when I kind of explained it. Otherwise, I'm going to have scheduled to release videos over the weekend, over the course of the weekend when I'm gone. So yeah, hopefully this will be out on Sunday, and have a nice one, mates. See ya.